Toby, don't be weird. It's the day before the 4th of July. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna work in the yard on the 4th of July. At least part of the day. Let's see, what do we have here? We got sun, we got the land, we got the grill, we got the dog, we got the patio, we got chairs. Got the flying near me. One of those heaters for winter. Toby, don't be weird. Toby, don't be weird. Okay, I'm giving him a little privacy. Toby, weirdo. You got the we put up with everything in this country. The weirdos, the little weirdos. But this country has flaws, and it also is one of the greatest concepts, countries, ideas of governance that has happened in time that we know of. You got the Greeks, the Roman Empire. Granted, ours is a very short, and unless we stay to our roots, we're going to implode. It seems easy that if we're not careful, we could be overrun by ideas contrary to our beliefs, whether it's socialist ideas on the one hand, Islam on the other hand, trying to take root and hold in our country. Or was it in Philadelphia? And now, I'm assuming this is true. In Philadelphia, there was a mosque with kids chanting that they wanted to grow up to be martyrs and etc. And it's just like, the thing with our society is we allow everybody to have their beliefs. Now, that doesn't mean you can turn those beliefs violent, but what happens when a nation of 50 million people ends up with 25 million people who want to tear the place down? That is a big amount of dissent. And that's nothing right now, and that's whatever. I'm just pulling 25 million out of my hat, but that's nothing compared to half of the country seems to think that they can't even tell if a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. So if you're that dense and you're half of the voting population, we're screwed. I mean, really. Boys are boys, girls are girls. This assigned at birth business, I was listening to an interesting talk. This assigned at birth was for those rare cases where there was some ambiguity. But then they turned that phrase into everyone is open, all sex assignment is open to interpretation down the line. We can't just make a determination immediately anymore, at least not by half the country's odd beliefs. When you leave Christianity, I've said it before, it would seem to me history bears out that this country was founded by people who were, for the most part, one form of Christianity or another. When you leave that form of morality, that there is a God, there's a higher power, you're not him, and that you're supposed to live the way he has allowed it to be revealed to us through, let's face it, through Abraham, Moses, Isaac, all the others, into John the Baptist, into Jesus, and then into the Catholic faith, then when you leave that dynamic and just leave it open to everyone is God and everyone determines what morality is, well, I don't want to live by that. You don't want to live by that. I want someone with a higher intelligence than a human, i.e. God, to give me the idea of what the proper morality and what, if God's the creator, and I believe he is, then he should know how the creation should work. Whether it's the earth, the sun, the oceans, and the people on it, the animals. He knows how that works best. He has a plan. And when we deviate from that plan, when we decide that we are going to determine what's right and wrong, things are going to go poorly. Because we're not the creator. We didn't make this show. He did. So when we deviate from Christian morality, from Christian concepts, we become something completely different, I believe. And that's when things are going to go bad. We've done pretty well so far. Certainly we had flaws and have had flaws and still have flaws, but we're correcting them. Anyone with the right mind, even Whoopi Goldberg, well, obviously not Whoopi, she doesn't seem to recognize, would know that where we were as a nation in 1776 is different than where we were in 1876 and where we were in 1976 and where we are today. Except for Whoopi. She doesn't know. She thinks we're just as bad today as we were then, I suppose, back in the inception of our country. Are there flaws? Yeah. Name a nation that doesn't have flaws. That's what's offensive, is somehow the United States is supposed to be take the brunt of all evil of all time, when every country has done the same thing. Every country has conquered another nation. Everyone's history has problems, but yet the United States seems to have invented all evil. So yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. Yeah, let's get to your Christian roots, preferably Catholicism, because that's the true Christianity. Everything else is less. Baptist, Methodist. Oh my gosh, I almost said Mormons. That's not even. Yeah, all the others are less, and that's just Jesus started one religion. That's just history and facts. I prefer the history and the facts. So, yeah, happy 4th, and God bless America.